hello. Yes, hello, hi. I'm not muted and everything. Sorry, a bit chaotic over here. Just came from another live stream, now to the next live stream, but here we are, made it in time. How's everyone doing? Brandon, you have a nice tan, or is it just a camera? You came from Australia, and
Thanks.
the summer there, so.
Yeah, no, I feel good. It's a sunny day here in California. I'm actually
Good.
getting ready to go skiing this weekend, so I'll be
Ooh,
doing less tanning, but
less
more
tanning.
fun.
That's cool. More breaking legs. No, hopefully not.
I hope not.
Perfect. Victor, how are you doing?
Hey, getting warm now in Mexico. Better weather. Everything is better now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Perfect.
fully focused on the with James on the full screen for Android and on Windows. So
Oh, perfect.
teamwork.
Yeah, really great. That's good. Yeah, so here in Europe, in the Netherlands, it's still like, it's well, just March, but we get a little bit more of sun. It still needs to warm up a little bit more, but at least a little bit of sunshine that is works perfect for my mood at least. I'm done with like the gray weather over here, so I'm just happy that we're getting a little bit of sun as well. Yeah, Sean, I mean, for you, like you're in the UK, it's always like you're always depressed, right? It's always
Look how
raining.
dark it is in his room.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah, I mean it is nighttime, but it's been pretty grim the last couple of months. Lots and lots of rain.
oh, yeah, see. Hang in there, Sean. You can do it. Actually, Sean, who like okay, Victor, maybe Sean is going to the MVP summit next week, which is like a special get together for Microsoft MVP. So really cool. I'm a little bit jealous. Also, no sunshine there, so sorry. Vlad, how have you been?
Yeah, hello. Spring is finally here, so it's much warmer. Yeah,
Oh.
and oh yeah,
Hey.
yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
finalizing my final work before the PhD defense. So yeah,
Oh, I saw that.
yeah,
Yeah. That's really cool. For the people, I think you tweeted something about that, Brandon. Did you? So you needed, because I missed that somehow. But Vlad, you're doing your PhD, super cool, and you needed more people, other PhD people who already kind of like got their
Uh,
PhD to
yeah,
challenge you. Is that the
yeah.
story?
Actually, Matt helped me yesterday and already found one opponent.
Oh,
So yeah, I think for now it should be enough. Yeah, I will find probably I will need one more, but probably this person should be also from Ukraine maybe. So
okay,
yeah,
okay.
thank you, Matt, if you're watching this stream. So yeah,
Really
Is
cool.
that
Well, I hope it goes
Matt
well.
Goldman?
yeah,
Is that Matt Goldman, Vlad?
yeah, right.
Cool.
Cool.
I was just a guest on his
Cool.
podcast. Yeah, I got to hang out with him in Sydney.
Yeah,
Yeah, Geralt,
nice.
it works only once.
Yeah. So for the people who don't know, like this is a feature in macOS, I think, at some point. Like if you do, oh, there we go. If you do certain gestures, it will like do, I don't know. Oh, see, it will add some things. And I have it enabled. Oh, see, everyone has a Mac. Wow.
Everyone has a Mac.
That's interesting.
Oh wow. Okay, it could also do the sad things. I think, like just to.
Oh, jeez.
All right.
Yeah.
The UK.
Bring the
This is
mood
like
down.
Sean all the time. All right. Kim, I swear we
Yeah.
talk about interesting stuff as well. Kim, what have you been up to?
I'm also enjoying the weather improving, so I now understand what seasonal depression is. So that's great.
Yeah.
But no, it's starting to, like you said, it's the sun's shining. It's still a bit cold in the shade, but
Yep.
it's nice. So yeah,
We're getting there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now that we know everyone is fine, we were missing a couple of people, I think. Had some family business going on. Obviously, like we have more than enough people now on the kind of like core team that not everyone has to be here all the time. We love to have everyone, but it's fine. Great. So let's move on to like the first announcements. I see a couple of links here. You can follow along. We are open source. Also, our links, our show notes are open source, so you can follow along. I think Brandon's putting it in the chat right now. Oh yeah, Kim. So actually, Vlad and Kim, I don't know who's going to talk about this one, but we had a blog post last week. It has been written sometime before, with like our highlights of the last year, which was super cool. Vlad,
Yeah.
Kim,
So-
what are kind of like the
so,
highlights
well,
here?
Well, this all started because Vlad, at the end of the year, gained a bunch of statistics about the repos, and then everyone said, "Oh, this is a good idea. Let's put this into a blog post," because there's some pretty impressive numbers actually inside of here, like in terms of the number of commits and 41 contributors. The number of downloads on NuGet is crazy, which is that's a lot. That's over 500,000. And then we have basically in the blog post we break down all the various features that came out in the previous year. So there's some that's a little diagram of all the different classes and all the different things. So I actually sort of stole that. Brandon did a post maybe a year or two ago that had the
Long
same
time
layout.
ago.
Do you remember that, Brandon?
I thought it looked familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I went, well, let's create a new version of that, and it's like the font size on yours is heaps bigger, and I had to like shrink it right down. So lots of great stuff in there. And then we talk about some of the faves, so the media element, and then the maps, and then there's Vlad, who's a superstar, churning out lots of stuff, speech to text and folder pickers. So lots of really great work there. Probably they're going to be hard to see on a live stream. Keyboard extensions, badge API, app theming, and then we sort of get down into Sean got some stats around the docs repository because Sean does a lot in the docs repository. So lots of contributors there, and of course, not to forget the markup repository as well for those of you who are more C# than XAML based. And that cool little chart, straight to the moon. It's like a Reddit post, just showing the number of downloads. So that's pretty cool. And then below that, I think we have a bunch of pictures of the contributors, which is really nice. Bravo to everyone. Yeah.
No gesture for this one, Michael.
It's a
Give it
good
that
looking
one.
group.
Yes. And there's some nice comments down the bottom. It's worth having a look at some of the comments actually, if you can see them. So there's one down there about thanks for supercharging how the community toolkit supercharges .NET Maui, which is really lovely. So it's a good little comment.
Microsoft Maps, media elements are
Maps and media.
enjoyed. Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Big fans there. Yeah. So yeah, I think some really positive feedback. Vlad, you got anything to add? You good?
No, not from me. Just want to add that it will continue. The next blog post will be in a year, and with more and more features.
We'll see that chart keep on going up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I suppose the thing is, it's a big thank you to the community for all the contributions. Yeah,
Absolutely. That's been great.
beautiful.
Like not only like I think we left kind of like that part out, maybe like like I just mentioned, like our kind of like core team grew a lot as well over the last year. So we got definitely a good number of people there as well, and even like people who are not on the core team, like Pedro, who was in the core team, now is not anymore, still very much involved, as like George, who was always in the chat right here. I see New York Matrix, James, who's been doing a lot of great stuff. I think we'll get to that for the media element as well. So yes, there's really like the community and community toolkit is really amazing. So thank you all for that. We love Pedro. Yes, absolutely. All right, perfect. So Vlad, you have been busy writing something as well. So the next link here is about testing .NET Maui apps using Appium and XUnit. And I can already spoil here a little bit for the people who are watching that anything can happen, so no solid promises. But I'm scheduled right now to be on the next .NET Maui Community Toolkit. No, sorry. The next .NET Maui
You'll be there too.
Standup. Yeah, so next month is going to be more crazy. Then I'm going to have like 3 hours live stream. I'm going to be on the .NET Maui stand-up first, talking about testing as well. Then I go to the stream that I just did, which is a new thing we're trying, where we go review community PRs on the .NET Maui repo. So definitely check that out as well. We didn't really communicate that ahead of time for this month because we wanted to low profile, see if it's something that we can do. But I think it went really well. And then this one. So 3 hours back to back is going to be fun. Anyway, you wrote this blog post, Vlad, about testing. So you're already stealing my thunder. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah, as for this article, it's actually based on .NET Maui samples repo, but it's in that in that repository it uses NUnit, but I prefer XUnit, so that is why I decided why not to write an article and describing how it can be implemented. Also, I made some refactoring about like shared code, and yeah,
Cool.
that's it, how I described it. In the next blog post, I will probably describe how to run all of this on CI. Because when you write tests, you probably want to include it on the continuous integration process. So this month I will publish a new post.
Cool. Yeah. So, who's that guy? That's
I don't know who is he.
So yeah, this is great stuff. Like, you obviously have like different ways of testing your application. So here, I think you'll link to videos of me and Alan Ritchie, who is also a very famous and well-known, respected community member for a long time since Xamarin Now.NET Maui, who also known from the Shiny library, who came on, I think, some official Microsoft stream or show about unit testing. I did a little video on that. And yeah, here we have a whole bunch of stuff on like running UI tests with Appium. So that's really great.
Yeah.
What about Selenium? George asked in the chat. Is it also possible to take screenshots as part of the unit testing?
Actually, as you can see, it's also namespace OpenQA Selenium Appium service. So I think probably Appium is part of Selenium. And yes, you can take screenshots. It's not even related to the Appium. It's even a feature of .NET Maui. You can take a screenshot of any control. And the main part here is integration of Magic.NET library that allows you to compare two screenshots. So the assert part of each test is about taking screenshot and compare it with existing predefined screenshot and verify if two elements look the same. So it's not about like unit testing probably. It's related to end-to-end tests. Yeah, but as for
And I think that's cool. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so part of the but this is really getting down too much into the details, so we should probably wrap it up a little bit here. But I think part of the reason why we chose for NUnit over XUnit, because NUnit has support for like attachments, so you can like communicate back attachments back to like your Azure DevOps, and they will show up there. And XUnit didn't have that. Maybe they have it now. I don't know.
I modified this code so it works the same as with XUnit. So
okay.
you can. The part here is just to put that screenshots into a specific folder that you can then get from CI/CD, and yeah, I verified it also works. So you can use any framework you like.
Cool. Yeah. So George was asking a couple of things in the chat, and I just pasted a link in there. Oh, I'm not admin here, so my message might be removed. But I pasted a link to a PR in there. So we do a bunch of the snapshot testing also for .NET Maui, where we kind of like take a screenshot and then we run the test. So we have a base kind of like screenshot that we took from like, hey, this is the situation that we want to see. Then our test runs, takes a screenshot, and then it kind of like compares like, hey, how much is the same? I think there's a small margin that it might be a little bit different, but if it goes over, then it's going to say like, hey, the test failed, you should check it out. So we are using that actually in the .NET Maui repo as well. So if you're looking for examples for that, you can do it. We have it in the .NET Maui repo. Go check it out. If you can't find it, let me know, and I
Yeah,
will point you to the
actually, this blog post expired by it. So yeah, part of
There
the
we go.
code is just copied and maybe just a bit changed. So here you answering George's question. Yeah, it's pixel to pixel comparison, but it's in library, and also it allows to identify which part does not looks good. So it will output two images, one with green if everything
Right.
looks great, and part which is not the same, it will be just red. And you can also you can set the like the error percent of the errors you can have up to, so if your image looks almost the same, you can pass or fail the test.
Cool. So theoretically, do screenshots and upload them to the App Store and Google Play Store automatically as part of your CI/CD. I mean, the sky's the
I've known
limit. In
people who've done
theory,
that.
oh, really? Cool. In theory,
Yeah,
you can
back in the
totally
day
do that.
with App Center Test and Xamarin Test Cloud.
Right. That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
somebody showed me how they have a UI test called App Store Screenshots.
Oh,
And so it'll
right.
just
That's fun.
screenshot across all the different devices because, yeah, you need screenshots from an iPad and
Yeah.
iPhone and all the Android devices. So, like, screw it. I'll just let somebody else do it for me, and then we'll push them to the app stores.
Cool. That's fun. All right. So I see a lot of flat in the announcements. Well, actually, one is not correct. I see, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, as for this announcement, it's also based on my previous article related to .NET Maui push notifications to Azure, but I don't have a Apple developer account, so I was not able to provide like a guide how to set up it. So Enrico helped me with writing this. So actually, Enrico wrote this
cool.
article. Yeah, and yeah, that's it. So the guide about writing for Windows, Android, and iOS is now done, and you can set up it for all platforms.
Yeah, I've seen this one. This is really cool. Also because not all people like to use plugins for all the things. And I think this is the one that uses like no plugins, just uses like whatever APIs are there for Azure notification hubs, which is really cool. Goes through all the steps because there's a lot of stuff that you need to go through, especially for Apple to do right here. And I'm totally going to use this as inspiration for
Yeah, this is great.
Actually, we don't use plugin because the existing plugin is a bit obsolete and based on Xamarin. Probably there will be some new plugins.
That's the official one, right?
Really soon. Yeah, but
yeah,
for now it's the only way we found how to implement and use notifications from Azure. Yeah.
Interesting. So so because I so Alan, who I mentioned earlier, has like the Shiny plugin, which does a lot of things, including push notifications, also for Azure push notification, Azure Notification Hub. What's the exact name? Because I haven't I want to do videos but it's such an extensive topic. It's so much work that I can't find the time to do it. But I have over the holidays already, when I was like time off with my family, blah blah, boring. So Christmas time, I opened up my laptop, and I actually made it work with the Shiny plugin. So there's that one. If you want to make it a little bit easier, you could use that one. Because look at this. While we're talking, Brandon just keeps scrolling. It's like a mile long. Oh
I didn't realize how long this was. Holy cow. But truly, I mean, this is how hard it is. And has nothing to do with Maui either. Like if you made your app in Xcode using Swift, like you have to do these same steps, and it's just such a pain. I wish Apple would make it easier for us, but this is comprehensive. This is fantastic. Like
on Android, it's like plug in the API key. That's it. almost a little bit more, but
yeah. For even if you are using the Firebase messaging for pull notification.
Oh yeah.
Even if you are using that, you maybe can save some minutes with the package there from Xamarin Bindings. But at the end of the day, the app pull configuration is a mandatory. So yeah, they made it hard.
Yep. And it's just something that you want to push an app to the App Store and you want to do push notifications. You got to do it. And this is the only way to do it. So love to see it's all comprehensively typed up. I remember this probably took me a week to figure out years ago when I was first trying to figure it out on my own.
Yep. Perfect. So, and the next one also says Vlad, probably because Vlad added it, but I think Sean can talk to this a little bit more. His amazing orbit. Maybe Brandon, I think you were kind of like also a person who said to Sean, dude, like at NDC London, I don't know. Like there was, I think it's kind of like originated at NDC London where people said like, this session is amazing. Sean was showing it off at a conference in London, and a couple of people said like, dude, you need to open source this, make it a package, people will love it. That's kind of like how it went.
All I did was apply the peer pressure, and Sean finally open sourced it and nugetized it. yeah, Sean, what's Orbit?
So it's a distraction when I was writing my book, I think is where it originated from. I started playing around with Maui graphics and realized you could do some fun things. So I decided to build a bit of a game engine on top of that. I've been working on it for maybe a year, but based on some peer pressure from Brandon, I pushed forward and got it publicly released via NuGet. It's a preview, so be gentle, but I'm hopeful to iterate over things and get it to a stable release. I say fairly soon, but I know I'll procrastinate for quite some time. Thanks for the shout out.
That's how it works, right? Like you have this little project, needs a little bit of peer pressure to get it out there, and now I think there's a lot of good responses on this already. So hopefully it picks up a little bit, and that will keep the motivation going to add new stuff, fix bugs, that kind of stuff. So really cool. Yeah, I definitely gonna have a look at this.
Start making games in .NET Maui now. Crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Just need that markup support. Anyway, just throwing out crazy ideas now. When Orbit Game Jam? Yeah, we need some hack days or something. Cool. Actually, so I think Sean, because like the session you did, that probably sparked it. Oh gosh, this guy again. So what kind of sparked it? Because you did like the session. I still have to watch it. Okay, so this is a whole story, which is not interesting for anyone else besides us, probably. But you have this amazing session, which I keep missing somehow, which actually, like the slides are also like just a .NET Maui app, right? And that's also built on top of this engine. And I think you have a couple of samples and stuff in there as well.
Yes. So in this repo, there are 5 samples under games. Yeah. And like you say, the talk I gave in London was hosted inside the game, so it was a .NET Maui app with the content,
right?
Even to the point where I had some SignalR and it let the audience choose some of the content, so you could.
And his clicker was a PlayStation controller, so
it was yes.
Yeah. I mean, I just wish I reached that level of coolness at some point in my life. Cool. Great. I keep missing the session. I'm so sad. But I think it's recorded actually at NDC London. So waiting for that to be published. I'll definitely have a look at it. Okay. Next one is a video by me, apparently. I did not know this. I'm just glad I'm not wearing the same shirt because that's always kind of awkward. But yeah, generate PDF files in your .NET Maui app or any .NET application. Yeah, here's a video where I talk a little bit about a library. I think actually someone from the community again like posted this project as a sample, and I do this a lot, and I always kind of like make the joke that I steal it, but I definitely give credit where it is. So I think it's linked in like the video description, or at least like my sample repository, because I see this amazing stuff and then I'm like, yes, this is perfect for a video, and I make a video about it. So this little video shows you how to actually generate PDF files with a simple library, because this is a thing that a lot of people ask, like, hey, they have like reports that they need to generate from inside of their app, or they want to show those reports. So the video linked in there as well. Definitely go check it out. I would highly recommend it. And also subscribe to the channel, is how to view those PDFs inside of your .NET Maui application. PDFs, super crazy hard for whatever reason, but also still very popular. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely go check it out. Then proposals, rating view. Brandon, what's up with the rating view?
Yeah, so I've been pushing Alizio to come on, join us. He's created the rating view a while ago, and we've been slowly folding it into the toolkit. So now what we have is he's gone ahead and opened up a draft PR. If I click on the right button here, we can see it, and we can start diving into it. So was kind of curious to see if looks like Vlad and Pedro and I have been in here, but what do you guys think so far? It's fairly straightforward, but I can see some things. Um, what's the word I'm looking for? Being a debate. So let's see if we scroll down to rating view, like for example, like it's inheriting from border. Do we want it to inherit from border, for example? So uh, this is still in draft. We still haven't approved the proposal yet. I think it's uh, highly likely to get approved. But yeah, little things like I know Pedro, Vlad, and I have all had discussions about like what should it inherit from, like how do you hide being able to add children to it because um, this should be a shape that we make, and we don't want other folks to add custom shapes aside, but be able to modify the pre-made shapes like stars and I forget the other shapes that we've got in here, but yeah, I just wanted to raise it as this is something that we've been pushing towards for a couple months now. It's been a little slow, but if you have some time, jump in here, check it out. Even folks tuning in today, like Jens, Matt, George, uh, you've all been awesome, James, awesome contributors. So yeah, come check it out and see what you think. Think about like how you would use it, and how we can just make the best developer experience. So not really any news, more of a call to action, and let's make sure we keep iterating it so this one doesn't wither and die on the vine as pull requests can end up doing if they go stale for too long.
Yep.
Yeah, I can also add that we probably should return to the proposal and better describe how we want to. So what is a base control actually we should use? So because even right now we see different suggestions like border, grid. I suggested take a look at indicator view from .NET Maui and how it's implemented because it looks similar to the rating view. So currently we see that it's probably in discussion. It's based on template view or content view, and template view is, if I'm not mistaken, it's like based on stack layout, which is not recommended way, like not recommended control because we have vertical stack layout and horizontal stack layout. So probably we need to like first decide what is a base control, and after that it will be easier for this guy to implement and moving forward.
Yeah, I agree. And really, as long as we have something that works, like we could always refine it later. If we want to replace like template view with a different underlying control, like we could always adjust those. But yeah, that seems to be the real sticking point is what should the base view, base control, base class be for rating view? Because at the end of the day, to answer your question, James, it's this. It's putting like you have an app and you want to be able to let a user give you a 5-star review. So you'll tell us maximum number of stars is 5, minimum number is 1, and then the user can tap on and give their rating, and you can bind to that value and all that good stuff. So the plan right now is to have stars, hearts, and I forget if thumbs up and thumbs down is in it.
I'm not sure that liking will work just because it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it should like feel all before. Like if you set dislike, it should also like feel the like button, probably. So I'm not sure if this will like liking will work like here, but as for all other like it's rating control. Yeah.
Yeah. So something super cool. I think I could see myself using this in my app.
Mhm.
But yeah, like I said, it's just what's that base class gonna be? Because yeah, we've gone through like template view, we've gone through grid, we've gone through border, and it'd be a shame if this died on the vine just because we couldn't figure out a base class. That's all.
And I think this is one of those interesting things. Like Matthew was also in the chat asking, like, "Hey, what are they using on WinUI? Does it exist in WinUI?" I think this exists on Android, not on iOS. I'm pretty sure. So this is one of those controls that's like really custom thing that we would have to build or do something.
Yeah, Matt. I think this is just totally custom.
Yeah.
So using SVGs to draw those hearts and stars. And then it's all just Maui controls. So I don't think there's anything native in this.
Nope.
I think Syncfusion has the same control, so we can probably take a look how they implemented it and like recreate it in Community Toolkit.
And give it away for free.
Yeah.
We love you, Syncfusion and Telerik and the other ones, DevExpress, all of them. No, which is also really true. Like, there's a lot of great authors out there of libraries, paid or not. But we're all friends. We're all friends, so it's all good. Next one, camera view, which is really exciting. So I have been in a meeting together with Sean this morning with a couple of people from Australia. Because this is also like a really cool example of like, hey, we are thanking the community for all that they do, and this is actually something a company. I'm not sure if they're comfortable with me naming and shaming everyone, so let's just not do that right now. Unless, this is Sean who did this. Okay, phew. So a company that needs this, that actually developed basically the whole camera view and was like, we want to kind of like donate this to the .NET Maui Community Toolkit because we know that this is something that you still need to implement. We basically got the whole thing done. We know how to do it for like Windows, for iOS, for Android. We have to see if macOS kind of like comes for free through the whole Mac Catalyst stuff. But they have the whole thing done, and they're like, let everyone benefit from this. They ahead of time, before they even they sought like contact with us, with like, hey, we want to do this. Are you okay with that? Let's talk about it. And ahead of time, they just went through the whole company with like, hey, is there any legal stuff that we need to account for this? They figured the whole thing out, which is really great. So we had a talk today also about like a couple of angles from this, like, hey, more companies should do this. Like, hey, we are big consumers of open source libraries. Now it's also time for us to give something back, and not with like money, but with contributions of ourselves. So that's really cool.
If they wanted to contribute money, I guess that'd be fine.
I mean, I don't hate money. This is also fine.
Yeah, I'll take camera view.
So what's really cool, I had a meeting with them before this, and I told them like, hey, this is the things that is important to us, and one of the things is like, hey, we want to keep the API surface, the spec as close as possible with like Xamarin One, right? We have this in the Xamarin Community Toolkit. That's also why we now need to kind of like step on it to make this available for .NET Maui, because a lot of people now, before the May deadline, want to transition their apps from .NET Maui, from Xamarin Forms to .NET Maui. And if you have this camera view inside of your Xamarin app, you're now stuck because we don't have it for .NET Maui yet. So what I asked them is like, hey, please keep the API service as close as possible to what we have in Xamarin Forms so that people can easily migrate their applications, which they totally did. There is definitely a couple of small changes, but for the most part, they stuck with like the API that was there. And the other stuff is kind of like for the best, obviously, which is usually the case with breaking changes. But yeah, it seems like we're getting a pretty complete basic, well, basic always sounds like it's super basic, but let's say core implementation of camera view, and they have lots of plans after this, which is really exciting. But let's start with this thing with the basic functionalities and build it out from there.
Love it, man. Yeah, because between this camera view and touch behavior,
Yeah.
formerly known as touch effect, which these are starting to get some real traction now with, touch behavior is getting really, really close. Hopefully that'll get out in a couple weeks. But I feel like, yeah, camera view and touch effect, touch behavior are the most asked for features for the toolkit. So this is going to be incredible. It's going to be a big year, especially with now we all have to port our Xamarin apps. There's no more Xamarin support. So this is the year, and super happy to see these coming in.
Yeah, so this is super cool. And so one of the things actually that I wanted to, Sean, remind me, what were all the things that we were going to bring up? So one of the things that we talked about is, should this be a separate package, yes or no? Of which Sean and I said, like, yeah, that's probably a good idea for kind of like two reasons. One, for Android, this is going to bring in a separate dependency, as is usually the case for Android. So, with all the optimizations that are going on, it will probably be removed, even if we were to put it in like the main package, but better safe than sorry, and just have a separate package for a separate dependency. The other thing is, like, even this kind of like core basic implementation is going to be bigger than the average feature in the .NET Maui Community Toolkit, just like the media element or, maps is not that big, but from that standpoint, it kind of like makes sense to have it in a separate package and not have kind of like go through the whole project and figure out like what are the parts that belong to camera view, but just have it in a separate package and to divide it up a little bit more and make it a little bit clearer. But we were just wanted to see like, hey, what are your opinions on that as well? If you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, our rule so far has been, if it requires an external NuGet package or a third-party dependency, then we put it in a separate NuGet package. Like that's why we did it with maps and media element, because those require some outside NuGet packages. So yeah, I think that's fine. Someday if we have like a dozen NuGet packages we're managing, maybe we readdress this rule and we combine them all in .NET 10 or something like that. But yeah, I think for now it's still fine. I mean, camera view, media element, those are super popular, and folks will find them, even though they might not be in the base NuGet package.
Yeah, exactly. George also said like feels like it should be separate as it has dependencies, so that's great. Go ahead.
But as for speech recognition, but it's for Windows, we use separate package, but it's a part of Community Toolkit. It's a system speech package. It's probably not rather big. Yeah.
Small exception to the rule. Yeah, there's like a system NuGet package. So not sure why it's not in the base class libraries, but yeah. Technically on Windows, we bring in a system.speech NuGet package, I think it's called.
And kind of like small side effect, which is totally not a reason for doing this or not doing this, but a nice side effect of this is like, hey, we can also track the separate numbers of downloads, if that means anything to anyone, of like, hey, media element, camera view, and we can like kind of like gauge how popular something is, and we can also see that, of course, like by the issues that are coming in, but it's also nice to kind of like see the numbers separately for the separate features like that. So
can we create a package? I don't know how it's correctly named, but like .NET Maui, it's a package that contains some other packages included. So you install one, but you have like all them together installed. So like a whole feature, all framework. I don't know.
We're not going to create a workload, Vlad.
No. It's not a workload, but
like community toolkit.maui.all, and it references all of our NuGet packages.
Yeah, like when you install one package, you like have all features.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I can see that.
Interesting. Yeah.
If there's demand for it, yeah. Obviously, it's more work for us and more to maintain and more for our CI/CD pipeline. But yeah, if there's a big enough demand, then it's definitely doable.
Make an issue, upvote it if you want it.
That's right.
Upvote it with like fireworks and everything. No, doesn't work. It doesn't work when you want it to. It's super annoying. See, Kim can do it. It's just me. It's just me. Okay.
I gotcha.
Yeah, thank you. So that's on camera view. Actually, I don't see the notes on here. So there's two things which are not super on here. Now that I see James in the chat as well. So that's merged, right? So we have a working full screen thing for Media Element. Super, super exciting. So that's really cool. I think it's merged. So we should,
Yeah, we should have put that on the agenda today.
Yeah.
That one's hot off the presses.
Because
I think it literally merged yesterday.
Yeah.
Boom. Look at that.
For
James, Victor did it. Years in the making.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Super crazy hard. But we kind of like found a creative solution for this, I would say. Victor, we're using like the pop-ups for this now. Is that correct?
No. No, it's native, fully native on Android and on Windows as well. Yeah, feel native, feel the power of native.
No dependencies there. Here. Okay, perfect. So that's really great.
Yeah, super cool implementation. Really, really proud of you guys. I was pleasantly surprised when I was looking at it, like I wasn't able to figure it out. So I was like, how did they finally figure this out? And yeah, you almost, Victor, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, or James in the comments, like you made like a custom view on Windows that overlays the button, and it just looks normal. It looks flawless. It looks like it's always been there. But I think you're doing that manually, right?
Right. On Windows, James, what implemented was a layer on top of the video that adds the full screen button in the corner of the video. So when you over the mouse, it appears or disappears, depends on. And it's not in the transport controls because there are some limitations on Windows on that part. But yeah, that was implemented.
It's really cool. And the best part is like you just get it for free. If you're using Media Element, whenever we release the next version of Media Element, it'll just be there. Your users will just have it. There's like no extra work. It's really cool.
Yeah. Super cool. I'm going to check it out. That was kind of like the next question of James, I think. When is this going to be released? I worked so hard on it. And then I said, like, that's the other thing which you just touched on a little bit, Brandon, the touch behavior, which is called now. Also, a lot of people are waiting for that. I think we're close-ish. I don't know if people have a better feeling for it than I have. A lot of work went into that as well. So I was like, maybe we should wait for that one and have this one big release. But if we're still some time out for the touch behavior, then maybe we can say like, hey, it's Friday tomorrow. You know what that means? Release day.
That's right.
So maybe we
release day.
Release this tomorrow. And then we do the next one. I mean, if it's next week, we do a release next week. That's fine too, for the touch behavior. But I don't know what's the feeling for touch behavior. Does anyone know like how are we on that?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time on that last night. But real quick, Gerald, let's say since Media Element's a different NuGet package, we could push out this release.
That's right. That's
another advantage.
Yes.
There you go.
Totally right.
So
we're gonna do it tomorrow. Here we go.
Yeah, there you go. You heard it here first, James.
Boom.
But yeah, no, for touch behavior, I went through, a bunch of code was ported over from Xamarin Community Toolkit. So I was my focus yesterday was cleaning up the async await stuff. Like that was a big effort back in the Xamarin Community Toolkit days, and where there was some async support just not properly implemented. So I'm trying to make sure we do that right the first time here. So, little things from making sure we await every task to making sure every async task method has a cancellation token and how we properly handle that cancellation token support. So, I was just kind of like hanging on the couch last night watching TV, and I was like, let me check it out. Let's see where it's at. I was like, oh no, like this brought over a lot of bad habits that in the Xamarin Community Token, we're like, but it works. So we'll just look the other way. So, I was chatting with Kim this morning, minutes before we started the stream, and adding, so just little things like making a method awaitable, broke some of the unit tests. And part of that is, when I'm going through and, taking a method that's returning void and now returning task and making it awaitable, I have to make some assumptions about the intent. And so, yeah, basically you just need to go and dig through the unit test to see were the unit tests making assumptions around how we were not previously awaiting tasks and essentially returning void, returning before the method had completed. So I can't give you an answer on that, but it's definitely a good thing because it will either expose incorrect assumptions in our unit tests or bugs in the code that we'll have to go back and fix to resolve the failing unit tests. But yeah, no, it feels really, really close. I'll bet we can get that done certainly by the end of the month.
Yeah, we're going to push in the docs as well.
But do you already have those? Mostly.
There aren't any from the Xamarin Community Toolkit. I've
Do you have any docs in the Xamarin Community Toolkit? Oh god.
There's not for touch effect.
It's such a big sorry. Like the touch behavior file alone is like 1,000 lines of code. There's so many features in this. Wow.
There's about a million properties.
Yeah. I couldn't work out where to start with the docs.
Sorry, everybody.
I think we're going to work with some basic samples, show you how to do some common scenarios.
Yeah.
And maybe cover every single property. That feels a bit much. But we'll start with something and then we can iterate on it.
Yeah, that was something that when I was going through and doing the review yesterday, I don't want to delay this anymore, so I'm hesitant to even say this out loud, but part of me was like, let me see, let me scroll down to, where is that touch behavior sample source core views. There we go. So yeah, scrolling through, looking at this file and just seeing, like you said, John, there's so many properties in here. I was almost kind of like, should we just have separate touch behaviors? But I don't know. At this point, I think we just got to push forward with it. Like if we ever want to break it out, we could. Oh, it's this file. It didn't even load in GitHub. It's so big. There we go. Boom. So yeah, like it very much feels like we could have like a hover touch behavior. We could have a long press touch behavior. Because man, yeah, look, this is 1,000 lines of code. So I don't know. I think we need it. But I'm hesitant to delay it any further.
There is a bit of strangeness to the API in the fact that you can supply image sources. So like about 3 or 4 of the properties are image source related, and they only apply if the behavior is attached to an image. If that makes sense, which kind of feels wrong.
Yeah, agreed.
But I mean.
So when does .Maui support end? As long as we get this out before .Maui supports ends.
Well, Maui support ends.
Or I'm sorry, Xamarin support.
But I think we could ship it, couldn't we, and still iterate on it? I know we don't want to break
it's true.
But
we could have like a breaking change in .NET 9 or something and break these out to be separate behaviors. I don't know. If I'm feeling crazy, maybe I'll go through it and take a stab at it. But yeah, this is a 1,200 line file for touch behavior, and this is just a partial class. There's more. There's a whole other partial class for just the methods. So
wasn't this PR or this feature inspiration for the bindable property source generation? Do we have that in now?
No, that PR is still open. Because they're like Patreon got it to work in certain scenarios, but it doesn't. There's still a lot of things it can't do. Like it can make very basic bindable properties, but I forget the limitations. Whether it was like it couldn't do default values or it couldn't do like those on-changed methods, little things like that we could we could merge it, we could bring it in, we could start using it in some places. But source generators are hard, man. I get it.
Because this file is a bunch of bindable properties, really.
Yeah. Oh boy, yeah, it is.
It's a bunch.
The whole first 500 lines of it. 600 lines? Oh no.
Yeah, the other 500's comments.
Cool stuff.
But
anyway,
certainly close. Samples are
a
working.
lot of people, yeah, exactly. A lot of people are going to be happy with this. I see Matthew has some ideas on improvements as well. But I think now this has dragged out for so long. We probably, we're not going to just allow anything in. We're not going to do that, but we're definitely maybe going to look the other way on some things that we might improve in the future just to get it in and then improve on that, basically. So, Matthew, we're looking forward to PRs. We're an open source.
Yes. Yeah, it's that old adage, right? It's like, don't let perfect be or get in the way of good enough or something like that.
I like that.
A wise man once said.
Yeah, probably. Wise man, sometime, somewhere.
So yeah, maybe we merge this as is, and then we break out touch behavior into smaller behaviors in .NET 9 or .NET 10 or something like that.
I think more of a housekeeping thing. We have stuff going on with a Fabric bot, which is not the most fun thing to kind of work on.
No, it's not.
But it's kind of important with all the stuff that we've been doing. Brandon, I think you know a little bit about this.
Yeah, so this basically, anytime you see, I don't know if it's even in here, anytime you see Microsoft bot show up in a comment or anything like that, that's actually called Fabric bot behind the scenes. It was a tool that I implemented when I still worked at Microsoft for this repo, and it's how we can do things like when we merge a PR, the proposal reopens because we need to make sure we still write the docs for that new feature proposal. So long story short, a ton of our automation, a ton of our workflow when I created this repo uses Fabric bot. So like this is a massive breaking change because it's being decommissioned. There is a new thing coming in. I forget what it's called off the top of my head, but it doesn't do so. Yeah, this resource management. So it'll do a couple things, like it'll add that stale label that the Microsoft bot does, and it can do a couple things, but it doesn't interface with our project board. So we've got this massive project board still under classic. So, so first things first, what I need to do is I need to recreate our project board, and then figure out all these automations for it. So this is just a ton of work that was kind of just springed upon me that I'll be honest, I still don't have the time to do it. So I'm aware of it. I think Microsoft Bot's still working. So certainly once Fabric Bot actually goes away, then I'll have to do this. But man, it's one of those things like this is going to take me a couple of days to figure out. And there's literally going to be no change. Everything will look the same. Hopefully, all of our workflows will still hopefully be the same. But yeah, it's something that I need to prioritize, and
I think we're
just
not
want to bring it to the attention.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're not using any of those functionalities, but that's like what really sucks is that it doesn't like 100% support everything that FabricBot does. But I think like we're good. I think we're only using features that are still going to be supported. But yeah, it's just a big hassle to switch it all to the new thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
and not get any more value than
right. So one of these days I'll prioritize it. But yeah, things like camera view and touch behavior, I'd certainly love to get those out.
Yep.
Then refactor this repo.
Yep.
Can we keep both of them, like FabricBot and this GitOps, but remove from FabricBot JSON only some part of?
No, because the FabricBot, like that's automation that runs on a server side somewhere, and they're just going to switch it off at some point. So then just nothing will happen anymore.
Yeah, I just mean for temporary solution, so we can.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like part of it will work on new GitOps, but what we need to work with our pipeline, with our like old projects, will do by FabricBot. so we can try
Yeah.
if it works at all. If GitOps
Right, like kind of
all.
transition more easily
Yeah.
with like doing one functionality
Yeah,
at a time.
one by one. Yeah, like adding labels, adding some other stuff.
That's not a bad idea. So yeah, Matt in the comments is asking about it can be done in GitHub Actions. I don't know if that's true, Matt. If it is, awesome. But yeah, feel free to reach out. Maybe we can chat about just moving to GitHub Actions. But yeah, we need a bot that can like respond to or be triggered by when we add labels. We need a bot that can be triggered when we move things on our project board to the next column and add labels and close or open issues, whatever it might be. So there's just a ton of automation. I put a ton of work into this, and I'm really sad to see this going away. And if I'm being honest, annoyed that I now have to redo everything when everything just works. But be aware of this, guys. One day Fabricbot will be turned off, and all of a sudden things will disappear, and then I'll have to spend a few late nights figuring stuff out, and hopefully we come out on the other end and everything's the same. But I have a
Or maybe
feeling we're going to be missing some features.
Or maybe we can try on a markup project where there is no so many like.
Oh, that's true. That's a great idea. Yeah. Okay, good idea, Vlad.
Last thing we need to touch on because we're running over time. Vlad, I see some file save progression report tracking. That sounds super fancy. What's that all about?
Yeah, so we already have a file saver, but when you save a tiny file, it's okay. But when you have a long file, a big file, like assume 2 gigabytes, it takes some time to store it on a file system. So for users, there is no progress. What actually happens in the system, so it may take up to some minutes before actually user will see the like a toast that files is saved. So the idea is to add some progress that will notify what actually happens with the system, because we know the file stream length of the files. It can be possible to just report to user that how many bytes recorded to the file system. So it will be like enhancement for the existing file saver. So it's actually a proposal. So probably we need to vote for it.
Is this possible? Like, does iOS, Android, Windows have APIs around this?
Yeah, because we actually write stream with chunks because we it will be not probably like a real progress, but it's but we can simulate it and at least notify about how many bytes recorded and how many bytes left to store on the file system.
Cool. All right. I mean, I think before we officially vote and approve a proposal, we'll need to see like API designs and stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I mean, this sounds great to me.
Yeah, it's an iProgress interface, iProgress of int that will just report the number of. It's a percent from 0 to 100. How many bytes recorded? So probably something like that. Yeah, we also use iProgress in speech recognition, where we notify about intermediate recognition progress. So I think the same interface can be used to report the file saver progression.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm in.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Great. Well, I guess that's everything for this month. We didn't really have anything for the markup side, unfortunately. But that also means like it's super stable. Everyone is just using it and enjoying it, which is definitely good. Too.
There's a new feature I should have done last month, but I didn't. So one of these days I'll find time, but we'll do it.
Be continued. Be continued.
Yeah, we voted on that proposal last month, but I haven't done it yet.
All right. Well, it's coming.
I think it's some added incentive to do the media element release tomorrow. PR's just come in to fix a memory leak.
Oh, there we go. So just add that one in. Boom. Tomorrow it's going to be out. Cool. Yeah. So that's going to happen tomorrow. And then next month, we're going to be back with a new stream, hopefully with more good news that we merged the touch behavior. And people are going to rejoice in the chat, and you're going to say like, "This is amazing. We love you guys." Hopefully, or then I wake up and it's all.
But what will happen if we not match it?
If we're not, then there are going to be pitchforks and fires and like, ooh. Oh, see, yes, that's going to be
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So thank you so much, guys, for running over time. So see you again next month. Thank you, everyone in the chat, Jens, James, George, as always, and see you next time. Ta-ta.